President Donald Trump got tested positive for coronavirus last week. His wife, Melania Trump, got tested positive too, as well as some other people in the White House. People suspect that he got it during his Supreme Court nomination. His physician said that he's doing very well and doesn't need any extra oxygen. Mike Pence, the vice president, has not been given the duties of the president yet because Donald Trump will continue to work while recovering. He and the First Lady are staying at the White House during their recuperation. People suspect that he might not have the coronavirus, but is actually faking it because he wants to get sympathy votes and wants to convince everybody that getting coronavirus isn't so bad. The US 2020 presidential debate took place on Tuesday, 29th September. It was between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. People call it the most chaotic presidential debate ever and are saying that the loser is us, the American people. The moderator was Chris Wallace. There was a lot of interrupting and insulting during the debate. The next one is scheduled for October 7th. Thank you. Paris is at risk of a second lockdown after cases rise rapidly in Paris as well as the rest of Europe. The age group between 20 and 30 has a high infection rate. Many people are dreading the lockdown as they have already experienced the first one and don't enjoy it much. Thank you. World weather. The hottest countries this week will be Brazil. The coldest countries this week will be Russia and Mongolia. And the wettest countries with the most rain this week will be Vietnam, Japan, and Mongolia. Thank you and hope you had a nice week. Okay, hello everyone. Today on ANN News, we've got a few children who are going to talk about their thoughts and experiences on coronavirus. So they're from different countries, and without further ado, let's begin. So, children's thoughts and experiences on coronavirus. Okay, so introductions. I'd like all of you to introduce yourselves and just make sure that you include your name, age, the country and city that you live in, and anything else that you'd like to add. So let's start with Vidhan.
Okay, so my name is Vidhan Sharma and this is my brother Shaurya Sharma. We are both from India, living in Haryana at the moment.
Then.
Yeah, and I think that's about it.
Okay, your age?
I'm 12 and he's 10.
Okay, good. That's nice. And let's go to Aniket.
Hi, my name is Aniket Shangolia and I'm 14. I live in Mumbai, India. That's it.
Okay. Aisha.
Hello, my name is Aisha and I live in the United Kingdom in London.
Your age, please?
I'm 11.
Okay, that's nice. You can add anything else that you like about yourself too, just remember. So let's go to Sun.
Okay, and my favorite season is spring.
That's nice. So, Sanvi?
Hi, my name is Tanvi. I am 13 years old and I live in Singapore. I've been living in Singapore for majority of my life for the past 9 years.
Okay, that's nice. Alana?
Hi, my name is Alana. I'm 13 years old and I live in Dubai, and my hobbies are art.
Oh, that's cool. Let's go to Siddhant. Siddhant, please. Um, hello. Okay, so Siddhant, would you please introduce yourself? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Vritti.
Hi, my name is Vriti Disha. I'm 11 years old. I live in Nairobi, Kenya, part of East Africa, and my hobby is sports. My favorite sports is swimming.
Cool. And lastly, we have Nakshatra.
Hi, my name is Nakshatra. I'm 12 years old. I live in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm really passionate about drawing.
Nice. So that was nice. Uh, we got to know a little bit about everyone. So let's move on to the next question. So these questions are on the lockdown. How long is your lockdown?
Well, am I supposed to go first?
Yeah,
Hello?
it's the same order. Vidhan, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the lockdown in our country started around March.
Yeah, and it
And
went until May or June. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of over, but we are still stuck at our places, and the schools haven't resumed yet. And at one point of
Okay.
time, it was so hard that on leaving the house, was actually made to what do you call it?
Sit-ups.
Yeah, do sit-ups on the road by the police. If they were hit by sticks. So yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Wow. How strict was it?
Very, very.
While it lasted, if you went out, the policeman would either make you do sit-ups, 10 or 20 times, and if you didn't agree to do it, they would beat you up with sticks. So yeah, it was pretty harsh.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. That's interesting. Let's move on to Aniket.
So I feel the lockdown, while I don't remember the exact timings, was about March to July, and basically like there was no exact time. It sort of like sloped off in terms of harshness. Like it started out very very harsh, where like bi- you would be fearful to leave, and it basically dissolved into a point where it was your choice if you wanted to lock down or not. And there's no lockdown right now at the moment.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Aisha?
So the lockdown in the UK was around from about March to maybe May or June. So it was quite a while. And I also had to have my birthday in quarantine. So
Oh, okay. How was your birthday?
it was okay, but it would have been better without, the lockdown.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Sanvi?
And the lockdown in Singapore was around 2 months from April to first week of June. It wasn't as harsh as I thought it would be. We could still go out, but we had to wear masks, and we couldn't go out like unnecessarily. We could only go out if we had to buy like groceries.
Okay.
But um, we also didn't really have. It wasn't as harsh as I would call it because people were still going out.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Alana.
Dubai didn't really go into a complete lockdown. What we had was that at the end of March, as cases in the country started to rise, schools and offices were asked to work from home. And then there was a restricted timing system with the pass system for a few weeks as they were doing a massive sterilization drive of all public places. And this lasted till around May, and then establishments started opening up.
Okay, so it wasn't that harsh, but it was kind of like a normal lockdown. And Siddhant. Siddhant, I'm having trouble hearing you. Could you speak louder, if that's possible? Could you remove your earphones, please? I still can't hear you. Can everyone else hear Siddhant?
Nope.
Okay, Siddhant, will you please check your sound connection? Okay. Okay, let's just move on to the next person. Vritti.
So in Kenya, we didn't have a lockdown, we had a curfew. So we had 3 phases in the curfew. The first one was everything closes down at 7 p.m. and then it opens at 5 a.m. The second phase was 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And now the third phase, which is ongoing, 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. So initially, the police were very brutal with people who did not follow the rules. The police used to beat up people who did not follow the rules and who did not wear masks. And in the start, we used to call our house help at home. She used to stay at our house for less exposure to the virus. And there were no social events, bars, restaurants, cinemas, or malls that were open.
Okay, wow. So it wasn't much of a lockdown, just a curfew, but still it was quite harsh. So Nakshita, thank you. Nakshita.
Again, in Kenya, there was a partial lockdown. So during the initial breakout of the pandemic, we did have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., but now the cases have reduced drastically and the curfew has been relaxed from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Okay, that's nice, interesting. So let's move on to the next question. Thank you. The lockdown. What are your thoughts on your lockdown?
Lockdown was well in the beginning, but then later on they kind of lost control, and after a point it just started snowballing, and then it increased to 1 lakh, 2
Yeah, it
lakhs.
still hasn't reached the peak.
Exactly. So it's still just steadily going up. So I would say that it wasn't really well handled.
Okay. Aniket?
I feel that my country's lockdown could have definitely been stricter and more consistent throughout the start towards the end. I feel if they were a bit more effective, there would have been less of a spread.
Can everyone hear me? Hello, can everyone hear me?
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Aniket. Aisha.
When the lockdown just started, I was really shocked because it happened really suddenly, and it was really hard to take in because nothing has ever happened as terrible like this before.
Okay. That's interesting. Sanvi, sorry.
My thoughts on the country's lockdown is that I think it was very well managed. We went into it wasn't exactly a lockdown. We call it a circuit breaker here in Singapore. So I think it was very well managed, and we also I think that um, like it was actually in like phases, so it wasn't like it could have been maybe a bit more stricter, like maybe have like a timing to like go out and then maybe come back by that time home, so that the cases could have like dropped more
Okay, thanks.
faster.
I heard that Singapore managed the lockdown very well. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on to Alana.
My thoughts are that the UAE handled it very well. I think
Mm-hmm.
the town and the curfew was handled very well and thought out clearly.
Okay, sorry. That's interesting. That's cool. Siddhant. Siddhant, please. I think Siddhant has left the meeting, so Vritti.
I think our President Uhuru Kenyatta handled it very well together with the corporation. Initially, he brought a partial lockdown instead of a complete lockdown. So there was some economic activity that was still ongoing in Kenya. In other countries where there was complete lockdown, like India and South Africa, many businesses had stopped, so there was loss of jobs. And the president opened the economy further in phases. That is why Kenya's economy has increased by 2% this year. And recently, he did not open any schools, but many thought he would.
Okay. Thank you. Nakshatra.
So I personally feel the curfew or the partial lockdown could have been more stricter because I rarely went out, but the times when I went out, the people were, it was almost like it was a normal day, except that people were wearing masks. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the same in Mauritius over here. Thank you. Let's move on to the next question. The lockdown. What did you do during this time? Did you start a new hobby or read another book? Did you even finish something that you started?
Okay, so we did quite a lot of things. Yeah. The first thing was how to play the piano. The piano. Then I learned how to cross stage. We read a lot of books. Online classes have started, so we are doing that, and we cooked quite a few dishes as well in our free time. And
Okay.
yeah, I guess that's about it.
Cool. Aniket.
Mainly, I just worked on my previous hobbies and stuff. Like I did a bunch of baking, some desserts. I also made a lot of pastas. I read a lot, a bunch of new books. I also worked on stuff like languages, and I learned a bit of German and worked on my Spanish. I also studied for some subjects like math. That's basically it.
Okay, that's quite a few stuff. Aisha.
During the lockdown, I stayed at home. I did some schoolwork because it was online, and I did some entertainment, like went online to do some, chat with my friends. And I went out for walks and played badminton with my mom. And when the rules around the lockdown were like more relaxed, I played outside with my friends.
That's cool. Sanvi.
During the lockdown, I had online lessons on this portal called Student Learning Space provided by the Ministry of Education of Singapore. Besides studying, I picked up a new hobby such as baking slash cooking. I also learned a bit of Danish and I talked to my friends over video call as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Alana.
During the lockdown, I had mostly had online school, and I used to call my friends a lot, and I got into baking.
That's nice. Many people are into baking. I'm not sure if Siddhant is a part of the call.
I'm trying to let him in right now.
Okay, so if he comes, he can go after Nakshatra. So, Vritti.
In the start of the curfew, I would help my mom with cooking and cleaning utensils and sometimes cleaning the house. Then e-learning started using a software called Microsoft Teams, which I think is great. And my newest hobby was gardening. I grew spinach, potatoes, chilies, chives, broccoli, and many other. I also had a passion for baking during the holidays, and I started practicing my basketball shots.
That's nice. Nakshatra.
During this partial lockdown, I did pick up a few hobbies. I discovered new ones as well as rediscovered my old hobbies, and I also have almost become an expert in cooking and cleaning.
Okay, that's nice. Nakshatra, you started a YouTube channel. Do you want to tell everyone about it?
Yes, I did start a YouTube channel almost out of boredom. It's going pretty good, but I'm still starting out, so there's not much really about to, get new about it or anything.
Okay, that's nice. Siddhant,
Yes.
the question is, what did you do during the lockdown?
In the lockdown, I was pretty busy with my online Zoom classes and assignments, but I picked up time to learn a bit of piano, and that's it. I grew a plant, but
Okay, cool. Before we go on to the next question, Sanvi, because of the time difference, she's gonna leave the meeting. Thank you, Sanvi, for joining. It was nice having you here.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of the interview. Bye. Good night.
Goodbye.
bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question. So these questions are based on school, and so let's start. How was or how is your online school experience? Vedant and
Well,
Shaurya.
going on, so definitely a come down from actual school experience.
Yeah.
But in some ways, it's also fun. One of the ways in which it is like, if the teacher forgets to switch off chat, like the Zoom chat on which I'm just gonna send a message right now.
You can still talk on.
Yeah, so you can talk on that, or if you can't talk on that, then there's Zoom chat, the one which teachers can't control. So you can talk on that if there's a boring topic, and yeah, but there are also a few negatives, like the teacher can mute you at will, and that's extremely unfair. So yeah, I think about that. That's it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Aniket.
So I feel the online school experience has been a bit meh overall because there's some really good things about it, like you get to wake up late and do your own work at your own time, and also there's some things that are not so good about it. Like for example, certain subjects like arts or drama or design would be much worse online than they would be normally. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Aisha.
I don't really like the online school experience because it's really hard to just organize it all by yourself because teachers are there to teach you, and even though they were online helping you, we just had homework set. We didn't actually have meetings, so you couldn't really see the teacher, and I'm not really used to like focusing, so I didn't do all my assignments because it's kind of hard to focus.
Oh, at the beginning we had that too, but then we started having a few calls. So now that Sanvi's left, Alana.
From a learning perspective, I think it was good, and I got to work at my own pace. However, I did miss my friends and the interaction I'd have at school.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite hard to talk to your friends online because it's not as fun as practically. Anyway, Siddhant.
My online school experience was nice, but I didn't enjoy it so much because you can't interact with your friends. Like in the Zoom class, the teacher mutes us, and we can only answer when she unmutes. So
Okay. Priti.
So in the start, I was so happy that we had e-learning from home because we didn't have to wake up early. We could wear home clothes, and my mom would bring home cooked food inside our rooms, like for breakfast, because we used to wake up late and school already started. But now that I have switched to secondary school, I have to wear uniform, and it's kind of getting out of hand, and it's quite draining.
Wow. Yeah. Um, that's hard. Yeah. Nakshita.
So, personally speaking, of course, online school has its own pros and cons, but overall, I found it as a average school experience. Although now the school has implemented the online schooling system, the assignments and homeworks have become quite less than what was previously. So that's just my perspective on the current scenario of online schooling.
Okay, that's um. So let's move on to the next question. Anya, will you please change the slide? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so school. Do you prefer online or physical school, and why?
Well, I prefer physical school, and I stated in the previous question why. Because in that, the teachers don't have the power to mute you, and the face-to-face learning experience helps you absorb the information much better, and then the recess and all that extra stuff. So yeah.
Nice. Is sure you're gonna speak?
No.
Okay. Then Aniket.
It would be physical school for me because I feel there's a lot more things you can do in certain classes that you really miss out on in online school. Yeah.
Okay. Aisha.
Um, I prefer physical school as I like interacting with my friends, and online you can't really do that unless you have a Zoom call. But I didn't have Zoom calls with my friends. I mean, I did, but not as many as I normally would have had if I was in real life. And I like just being having the teacher there to just you know help us with our work. And sometimes your parents are busy, so they can't always like help you. And it's just much better to be in school, even if you have to wake up early.
True. Alana.
Currently, I'm going to school physically, and I do prefer it because you get to interact with your teachers and your friends. And I think for me, it's much easier to learn.
Okay. Siddhant.
I prefer physical school as we can interact with our friends without disturbance or connectivity problems and all those things which computer.
Yeah, it's hard staying at a screen all day.
Yeah, it is what.
Vritti. I prefer physical school too because the most important thing that I miss is eating break and lunch with my friends and tasting each other's food. I really miss that and the sporting activities. And as I said, I'm in junior high. There's a lot of internet connection, which leads to ear and eye strain, and everyone talks whenever they want. And sometimes the teacher doesn't see when your hand is up, so you kind of feel left out because you just want to say that answer. Though I am grateful to be able to learn from home, because about billions of people in Kenya are not able to study. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, Nakshatra.
Personally, my experience from online school and physical school, I prefer physical school than online school because the fact that during this period, my eyesight has been greatly affected, and so have the constant migraines that has been coming and going. The workload, of course, has increased by a huge number. Of course, also the technical difficulties that come and go. But as I said, this is overall average, school experience.
That's nice. Looks like everyone prefers physical school, including me. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question. Anya. Yeah, thank you. So this is the last question. It's about the vaccine. Okay. When do you think a vaccine that has been mass produced and is effective will come out? You probably know that the Sputnik 5 has already come out, but not many people trust it. Yeah. So, Vidhan.
Yeah. Well, is effective can be as recent as the next 3 months, but mass produced, I mean, that'll take quite some time, around
Yeah,
6
like
months or so.
1 year actually. By next year it'll be done.
Yeah.
Next year, May, March.
Yeah, so in a mass-produced one would be hard to get, but effective, yes. That I think that can be done in the next 3 months.
Okay, yeah, because many people are also saying they think it's gonna be next year too. Okay, so Aniket.
I think there's no real way for me to gauge how long it would take for something that is very effective and mass produced, and more importantly, mass used for vaccine to come out because of like the sheer amount of factors. Like we don't know what each nation is doing for vaccines right now. There could be a lot of things not done publicly for this, and also we don't know if that even if like let's say in the next 3 months or a year if a vaccine comes out and it is able to be mass produced by nations, that people will actually use it, because you can see that there's like a whole bunch of flat earthers and anti-vaxxers out there nowadays who are just spreading misinformation. So there's no real way, I think, to gauge this at the moment for me.
That's interesting. Yeah. Aisha.
I think it might take a few years for the vaccine, but there might not actually be one. I think maybe everyone just gets it and you'll be immune to it afterwards. But the Spanish flu doesn't have a vaccine yet, and that's very similar to this pandemic. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a vaccine.
Yeah, that's a different side to it. That's could be a possibility too. Alana.
While there are different situations around the world of different countries trying to find a vaccine, Dubai is trying out a vaccine and it is in the third phase of field testing, and they've started giving out to frontline workers.
Okay. Wow. Siddhant.
I think a vaccine will soon come out, as the whole world is working on one, and I think a vaccine will come out in 3 or 4 months, and I hope it comes out soon, as many people are infected and have already lost their life. Some of them.
Okay. Priti. So I think a good effective vaccine may take 1.5 years to come up with, due to the current scientific technology available. A good working vaccine for COVID will take at least 1.5 years to develop to be approved by WHO. So we are looking at a vaccine mid next year. Okay. Wow. Wow. Nakshatra.
I personally think the vaccine might come out by next year, February, like mid of February. But for the mass number of the vials or the vaccine to come out, probably at the end of next year, November, December, somewhere there.
Okay. Yeah. All of you have quite different points of view, which is great. And thank you. So I'm just going to call out your names. Could you just say a line or something when I call out your name? For Sandvi, as she's left, we can, I'll just say her name. But could you just say something? Thank you. Nakshatra.
I'm really happy about doing this interview with the ANN Kids channel, and I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you. Aniket.
This was a really good chance for me to talk and see how other people have these opinions about the same topics that I have experienced.
Yeah, wow. Alana.
Thank you for interviewing me for the ANN News Kids channel.
Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this experience, because I think it's really good to just know how everyone else feels from all the other places in the world.
That's nice. Siddhant.
This interview was very nice, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thanks. Sandvi. Vidan.
Yeah, so this was a great opportunity. I really enjoyed it. I like the way the questions were framed, and yeah.
Thank you. Shaurya. Is Shaurya there? Hello, Vidan. Is Shaurya present?
No.
Okay. Then Arjun could not make it to the call, so we'll go to Vritti. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Like and subscribe to ANN News Kids. Thank you.
Okay, so I really enjoyed it today. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.
Bye,
too.
everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
My
Goodbye.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.